HOA tells me to give them the key to my garage and property. When I opened my garage, HOA called 911. The letter appeared one ordinary morning, slipped under my front door, as if it were just another flyer or neighborhood notice. But this wasn't a casual memo. Bold type, official-looking header, and sharp language screamed intimidation. You are hereby ordered to provide the Homeowners Association with a key to your garage and unrestricted access to your property. Failure to comply will result in penalties, fines, and possible removal from the community. I stood frozen in the hallway, gripping the paper until it wrinkled in my hand. My first thought was disbelief. My second thought was anger. And my third thought, the one that chilled me, was, what exactly do they think they'll find if they get inside? Because my garage wasn't just a place to store bicycles or lawn tools. It was the heart of my home, a shrine to my late father, a war veteran who left me journals, photographs, his medals, and the Army Jeep he once drove across battlefields overseas. That garage wasn't just storage, it was memory, it was sacred. But the HOA didn't see sacred. They saw control. The next day, 3 HOA board members showed up at my driveway. They wore smug expressions, each one holding clipboards like weapons of bureaucracy. Mr. Carter, the leader began, his tone sharp. We'll be needing that key today. I crossed my arms and stared them down. Show me the law that says you're entitled to it. The second one, a woman with narrowed eyes, snapped, Association policy is law. That's when I laughed. A hard, cold laugh. Policy isn't law. And you'll never have my key. Their faces soured. They muttered about fines, lawsuits, and consequences. They left, but their threats lingered in the air like poison. For weeks, they doubled down. Letters in my mailbox. Notes taped to my door. Even thinly veiled threats whispered by their supporters at the community meetings. Still, I didn't bend. If anything, their pressure only fueled my resolve. And then came the breaking point. On a sweltering summer afternoon, the HOA returned, this time with a small group of residents tagging along as if staging a public shaming. Cameras out, phones recording. They demanded access again, voices loud enough for the whole street to hear. Open the garage, Mr. Carter. Comply, or we escalate. I could have refused again, could have shut the door and ignored them. But that wasn't my father's way. He always said sometimes the only way to beat bullies is to shine a light on them. Let everyone see their foolishness. So I stepped aside, looked them dead in the eye and said, fine, let's open it together. The crowd gasped when I lifted the garage door. There it was, the Army Jeep, polished and gleaming, draped with the folded American flag from my father's funeral. Alongside it, shelves of military crates filled with letters, medals, and photos. A lifetime of sacrifice preserved. The smell of oil and leather filled the air. But instead of awe, the HOA recoiled. Their smugness turned to panic. This is suspicious, one shouted. Dangerous equipment, another cried. And before I could even respond, one of them dialed 911. Yes, officer, we have a resident with illegal weapons and dangerous material in his garage. Immediate assistance needed. Within minutes, sirens wailed in the distance. Police cruisers skidded to a stop in front of my house. Officers poured out, hands near their holsters, assessing the scene. Neighbors whispered, recording everything. Children peeked from behind their parents, wide-eyed with fear. One officer stepped forward. Sir, we received a call. Are you harboring weapons? I didn't flinch. I handed him a thick folder. Registrations, discharge papers, antique vehicle documents, proof of ownership for every artifact. He flipped through the papers, his eyes softening. Then he looked at the Jeep, then back at me. Finally, he turned to the HOA, his voice booming. There is nothing illegal here. These are military antiques. This man has every right to his property. You wasted our time, the HOA leader stuttered. But association policy, the officer cut him off. Policy does not override the law. Do you understand? If we get another false call, we'll charge you for harassment and misuse of emergency services. The neighbors erupted in cheers. Cameras caught every word. The HOA members, red-faced and humiliated, slinked away like beaten dogs. That day was the turning point. The neighborhood saw the HOA for what they were, bullies hiding behind clipboards. Their power wasn't real, it was intimidation. Once exposed, they lost everything. Within months, board members resigned, residents demanded reforms, and the association, once feared, became powerless. As for me, I sit in my garage every evening beside my father's Jeep. Sometimes I polish the chrome. Sometimes I reread his journals. And every time, I remember his words. Freedom isn't free, and sometimes the battle is right outside your front door. The garage door remains locked. The key remains mine. And the memory of the day the HOA tried to take everything from me and lost reminds the whole neighborhood that true ownership means standing your ground.